booties for black girl nerds.
Thank you. Zazie, before we start about Invincible, I want to say thank you for your Oscars 2020 look
Oh,
because
really? Oh, thank you.
I loved your hair so much, and we have very similar hair. And you know, it's a thing with Black women and how we wear hair and natural hairstyles, and they can't look elegant or professional if they're natural. Thank you. I have tried to recreate that hairstyle a couple times.
I can see now.
So thank you for that. But now into Invincible. This is such a cool comic. It has kind of a nostalgic feel for me in the way that it's drawn and even how the pacing of the story. Growing up, is this serendipitous for you? Were you a comic book kid? Is this full circle for you to be in a project like this?
You know, honestly, I came into comics more I suppose into my adulthood, really. I growing up, I was more of a musical theater kid. But I have really grown, I think, to appreciate the sort of the emotional depth of comics. You know, I think, you know, now because I'm also folded into this universe and I've worked in it, you know, watching a lot of the Marvel and just reading different stuff, or even like something like Invincible, right? They're really just reflections of humanity, and they're just put in heightened places. And I think that, you know, for like Invincible, it's about coming of age and the family dynamic between a father and a son, but placed in sort of these unlikely situations. And so it is just exploring something that we all experience, our anxieties, our feelings of being outcast. Like, I love what like X-Men represents, for example. And so it's opened up a world for me, really.
Mm-hmm. With opening that world, your character Amber, unlike our lead character, Amber is a normal person, a regular person who provides that sort of yin yang, approach to life for him. Is that fair to say about Amber and what she adds to the mix of their dynamic of their relationship?
Yeah, I think that Amber is a sort of a great foil to Mark's character in terms of somebody who isn't powerful but still, or super, like has superpower, sort of powerful, but still I think walks the world with a great sense of intention and a sense of what's important to her and wanting to make change in the world. And I think really, you know, whereas Mark, I think, is actually trying to figure that out. And I think Amber is like confident in her character and that what she believes in has value and can make change. And I really think that's kind of actually important to have in stories like this of, you know, we all want to be Wonder Woman or something in a way, but really you can be yourself, and that is actually enough, and it actually incites change. And, you know, she holds Mark accountable for his behavior. And he has all this like power, but doesn't totally know what to do with it. And Amber is taking the power she has and is using it. And so I think it is important to have someone like her in a show like this or in a story like this.
For sure. You know, the truth teller, the truth seer that others can't see. And I like that about the character. With bringing her to life with your theater background, what do you like in the booth? Are you super performing when you're recording, or what's it like when you step in there and are bringing her voice to life?
I think that's so funny you bring up theater, because I do feel like doing animation, it does go back to theater. So like the note I always get when I'm recording is to be louder, to be more emotive. And, you know, my background is in theater. And, you know, when I first started doing camera work, I really had to work on like bringing it in. And obviously it's all still grounded in reality, but like the way the camera captures is different than the way a stage presents. And so coming into a booth, you know, like, because your animated characters don't have like the little eyebrow twinges and all that stuff, you have to bring that out in the voice, and you have to almost overact in a way. And so I get very, as I'm doing right now, I get very physical in a booth, and I, you know, because you can't see my body, I try to put my body in my voice. And, I actually think they almost always record you. And I actually think they use that sometimes for animation to see how you are moving your body and moving your face. And they use that as help for some of the characters and how to animate the characters. But yes, and nobody's watching me. So I guess the director and stuff, but like, I'm not on set having hundreds of people watch me. And so I do get very like physical. So yeah, it's fun.
I can see sort of Amber with like the way they've drawn her hair and stuff. Like I can picture you like that. So when
they gave her my hairstyle that I
can tell because I
was like, oh,
it's so cute because I've seen you wear your hair like that. And I was like, oh, that's cute. I love that. It's very personal to you and it looks like you and animated for it.
Yeah.
So with that, when you see yourself, the animated version of you versus you playing a character, say on stage, is it a different reaction to see the characters you portray? Like with her, she has your hair. When you're doing something on camera or on stage, it's you, but in a character. Is it the same sort of visceral reaction seeing the versions?
It is different, I think. I do kind of feel like Amber has elements, obviously, with my hair, but also otherwise of what I look like. And I think it's interesting to see how somebody interprets how your voice interprets with like a character design, and then on stage it is different. I think I'm always very if I'm watching something I've done in a movie or something, I'm aware of the whole package of what's going on, and it's pretty hard for me to watch myself, honestly, because I get very like I just sort of, I'm like, oh, I could have done this or blah, blah, blah. But I'm like sort of aware of the whole thing versus with animation, anytime I have heard my voice. And I don't think I've actually have anything that's really come out yet. I'm trying to think. I have like maybe one thing that's come out. But then I'm just so hyper focused on my voice and how does it match the animation, and is it matching the character that we had created. And so it is like does feel different. I can't really describe it, I suppose, but like the focus, I'm very focused on what I sound like, and I'm surprised at what I sound like, which I think a lot of people are when they hear themselves.
When it's been a while, it's been a while since you've done on stage work, right?
Yeah.
Your work recently has been on film and everything. Does it feel like going back home to be able to overperform and perform bigger after being told for so long now to bring it back in, bring it down a bit?
It does feel, yes, it's really fun for me. I love being on stage. I've never actually done anything professional, but my hobby growing up was theater. And so I just was always doing theater. And, to me, it does feel like my first love, and the first, for me, when I go on stage, I just like, it's so funny because it's months or weeks of preparation. And then you go on, and to me, then it's your world. And it's like, it's not the director's anymore. It's not anybody's, it's the actor's world. And I feel like I just black out when I go on stage, and I'm just like out there and performing. And in film, it's just a different process. It's still very much like it's everybody's. And you feel the directors, you feel everybody's hand in it in a very different way. And the pressure honestly feels different, and also how community is built. It's just a very different experience. And while I think both are still based in like theater, it is the thing that's like, are you overacting, or are you like filling a space in a different way, right? It's still based in truth and based in like, what is the truth of the moment? It just can sometimes be, I think, reflected a little bit differently on camera versus on a stage. And I do miss that like energy, and that what you share with the audience. A camera is not an audience member in the same way to me. And I feel there is this like trifecta of like me, the audience, and my actor across from me when I'm on stage, and it's kind of intoxicating, frankly. So yes, I do miss my time on stage, and yes, it does remind me of that freedom in a way.
That's awesome. Well, you never know. It's speaking into existence, and that opportunity might present itself again.
I hope it does. I hope it does. Thanks for bringing it into my universe.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for your time. You're wonderful as always, and I can't wait to see the rest of the series.
Thank you. It was lovely chatting with you.
You too. Take care.
Day. Bye.
Bye.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.